Today on Locked On Red Wings, Max Plante and Trey Augustine are dominating the NCAA, and the Grand Rapids Griffins are off to the best start in franchise history.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And on today's episode, guys, we're going to talk to you about the prospects, give you a little bit of a prospect update as the Red Wings have some prospects who are flying high in college and as well as overseas. And then, of course, a handful of prospects playing really well with the Grand Rapids Griffins as they are off to, an 11-0-1 start? I think it is their only loss, 10-0-1 start. Their only loss coming so far during the shootout this season, which is absolutely insane. We're going to start with those two NCAA guys I mentioned in the cold open, but before we get to that, I got to let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Scotty, I think that we would be remiss if we didn't start with the goaltender from Michigan State University, the top of the Big Ten standings, Michigan State, who just beat Penn State, 2 weekends ago with Gavin McKenna on their team. And then this last weekend swept Notre Dame. They have one loss on the season, and it came in their opening weekend. They have been on a roll, and Trey Augustine has been at the forefront of all that. I mean, they have a really stacked roster outside of that, right, with guys like Porter Martone on that team as well. But Trey Augustine, a .948 save percentage thus far in 9 games played, a 1.32 goals against average. I mean, this kid is looking more and more like an NHL goaltender by the day with how he's been dominating with Michigan State.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's awesome. I mean, I know there's a lot of happy people in the area with that, and honestly, there's just a lot of great college hockey in the state of Michigan. Western is fantastic this year and is one of the higher ranked teams in D1. Michigan always has talent. And then, the kind of a surgence, if you will, of MSU hockey has been building really. I mean, honestly, if you want to pinpoint a starting point, it is Adam Nightingale. Like, I think that's a really fair argument to make. He's going to have a fork in the road here at some point. I think he's going to have the option of signing a long-term deal to stay at MSU or to turn into the pro leagues, because he is just seems to be kind of a shooting star in the industry and has put MSU hockey, saying back on the map is almost not even doing it justice, like catapulting them to one of the premier programs in the NCAA. So, huge credit to Nightingale. And, I mean, it's really cool to say that over the last 3 years, at least, a lot of the success that they have found is because of a Wings prospect and because of Augustine. Like, they have pretty objectively one of the best goaltenders in the NCAA, and that guy's a part of the Wings organization. So all of it is awesome.
Yeah, he has been lights out, almost robotic in the best way possible with him. And that's one of the things that people praise so much with Trey Augustine is, while he doesn't have the size that Sebastian Costa does, he's rock hard mentality. He does not let things faze him. He just goes out there. He knows what his job is. He doesn't go through those highs and lows. He is just a machine. And his mechanics are so well refined. The 4 games that stand out so much for the Spartans are obviously the 2 wins against the Penn State. They obviously courted Gavin McKenna a ton in the offseason, and he opted to go to Penn State for reportedly a little bit more NIL money. So that was a big matchup, for that that you want to say organization, for that's not quite right at the college level, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Program. Thank you. And the first game they won in overtime. He was fantastic. He allowed 1 goal on 24 shots. And then I believe the second game, they won a 5-0 shutout against the Penn State Nittany Lions, and he allowed 0 goals on 36 shots against. So he faced 12 more shots in the 5-0 shutout, but allowed 1 fewer goal. He was great in those 2 games. And then, of course, don't forget either the 2 games against Boston University, who at the time were the number 1 ranked team in the nation, and he stopped 16 of 18 in one of those wins, and then in the other win, he stopped 28 of 31. The way that it's displayed on the box score on their website's a little wonky. Yeah. But he's been fantastic. Like I said, 948 save percentage. Yeah. He is probably the best goalie in college hockey.
It's not bad.
I mean, he's going to get his ELC the moment he decides he's done playing.
Oh, for sure.
Now, college hockey is not AHL hockey. So it's hard to compare and contrast who's the better goaltender between Trey Augustine and Sebastian Cossa. At this point, Sebastian Cossa is probably closer to being NHL ready because, years and years of playing professional hockey at this point. I think 2 full seasons under his belt now. But I think Trey Augustine's going to take that step into the AHL level and probably adjust quicker than Cossa did, because the NCAA is such a good league at developing North American-style professional hockey. Now, obviously, Cossa's Canadian. He came from he played in the WHL when he played with the Edmonton Oil Kings, but the NCAA is just a little bit better, in my opinion, at developing that kind of thing. And he came from the developmental program, too, which is the best place you want to go if you are an American who wants to go pro. He is going to give Cossa a run for his money a little bit, I think. In Red Wings' hearts and minds, he already is. But it's just right now, you got to see it at the next level. But he is on track to be a very good professional goalie because he is dominating the NCAA.
Well, the thing is, I don't even know. First off, it's like we shouldn't pin them against each other.
It's hard not to naturally do that, right?
Right. You need 2 goalies to get through an NHL season these days anyway, unless you're maybe 2 teams in the league. Everybody has 2 goalies. You need 2, so that's a good problem to have. I think that in terms of his development, they're clearly at 2 very different stages. Cossa is at the highest league that's not NHL in North America, but I think that with Augustine, it's not even, to me at least, about necessarily who has the higher ceiling long term. I think it's more about the fact that their development paths are going to look very different. Cossa was drafted very young and, started at the lower levels and had to, slowly work his way up and has been in the AHL for a couple of years now, right? It's always a slower development when it comes to, guys that get drafted at 18 and then immediately start playing pro hockey, whereas Augustine is going to leave college and then is going to, if everything goes well, I think the hope is that he's going to leave MSU and then immediately start producing, not at the NHL, but immediately start producing as a pro. And honestly, that kind of, you're a few years older, right? You've been in college for a few years, you're in your early 20s. The hope is that you kind of fly through, honestly, the minor league system and get to the AHL pretty darn quickly. So I think that's the biggest thing that I really want to point out is just that their development might seem, timetables might seem slightly different, but I want to see Augustine play against professionals before I, make any statements about him versus Cossa, but I don't even want to do him versus Cossa anyway. They both have a spot on this team going forward, and I think that's really cool that there's 2 guys with pretty high hopes and expectations in the organization at once.
You bring up such a good point too. I kind of almost defaulted to pitting them against each other because of the 2 goalies in the Red Wings system that are the 2 top goalies in the Red Wings system.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are already doing that. I don't think that's just a you thing.
You bring up a good point. That's root for them both to succeed. Like that is what you want as a Red Wings fan. Even if you don't end up keeping both, if both succeed, that is a great problem to have. Yeah. So, I mean, we're watching Augustine, and he is lighting it up, and I have such high hopes for him. The hope is very high with Trey Augustine. And Costa's off to a great start, too, although he is banged up right now. We'll talk about that with the Griffins. But before we get to that, we got to talk Max Plante. He's been dominating with Minnesota-Duluth. We'll talk about that to start segment 2 of Locked On Red Wings. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Scotty, Trey Augustine is not the only player lighting up NCAA as far as Red Wings prospects go. Max Plante, in his second season with Minnesota-Duluth, has been unreal. So unreal that he leads all of the NCAA in point totals so far. 23 points in 14 games. He is 5 points shy of the mark he set last year, which is 28 in 9 fewer games. So he is on an absolute tear. He and his brother, Zam Plante, have been really feeding off each other all year long. He's a very cerebral playmaker, but he's found his scoring touch this year too. And this 2024 second-round pick, who again, another USNTDP player, that USA team, dude, the developmental team out in Plymouth, like only pumps out grade A talent. They go on to NCAA and they dominate.
Too, man. I seriously, I encourage people to go watch hockey out there. It is such a fun place to watch a hockey game.
It's great. It's a great game, and you get to see some of the up-and-coming best talent in America, like literally the best talent in America goes and plays for the developmental team.
They like in March, the state of Michigan, the high school hockey state championships are always there too. Like there's always good hockey in that building. And yes, obviously the US, youth team is an elite program that, I mean, we've had people that are part of that organization, on the show and talk about the just insane level of production that they kind of pump out year in and year out.
Right. Scotty, Max Plante, how excited are you for this young player?
Yeah, I mean, very. I mean, obviously, hard not to be with the season that he's putting up. I think he's another one that you kind of hope will season a little bit in college, and then right after leaving college, it can maybe be a fast riser throughout the system. I guess, you could just copy and paste that to anybody who plays multiple years, especially at collegiate hockey. But yeah, I mean, it's a really, really fun level of production. And I think that this was already an organization that had a lot of hype and excitement surrounding its prospects kind of before the 2024 and 2025 drafts were, added to the mix. And so I think it's just awesome to see that they are continuing to put out players that may, like all these guys aren't going to be Hart Trophy winners, obviously, but like you continue to produce guys that at least are showing you something year in and year out. Like there's at least one or two people from every draft that you kind of can circle and be like, okay, they're doing something really good at their given level. And he is certainly doing a lot more than that and is the latest example of that.
Yeah, 2 games that stand out to me. There was the 4-1 win over Minnesota, in which he had 2 goals in that game. And they had a 4-3 win over North Dakota, which is one of the ranked teams. I think they're currently, as of right now, North Dakota is ranked. Where are they on here? 6th in the nation. Yeah. That was a 4-3 win over North Dakota, in which he had 2 goals and 2 assists. So showing up in big games is Max Plante and his brother Zam Plante. Brady Cleveland also plays for that Minnesota-Duluth team as well, and he's been having a really solid year as himself, but obviously getting a little overshadowed by the 2024 second-round pick. But don't want to forget that big defenseman in Brady Cleveland that they got there. 6'5", 220-pound Brady Cleveland. He's just got 1 assist on the year. He's played 13 games with them as well. But I don't want to. When you're talking about his teammates, got to mention the giant they have on the back end in Brady Cleveland too.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's an accurate descriptor there as well. But yeah, like I said, just this. I guess I said Michigan earlier, but just kind of the region in general obviously produces a lot of hockey. And yeah, you watch these teams, you're getting previews of what potentially, the Frozen Four is going to look like. So,
right. And then let's transition now, Scotty, to talk a little bit about the Griffins. I have one more prospect I want to talk about that doesn't play for the Griffins, but we'll talk Griffins real quick here. They have been on a tear. I mentioned it to start the show. 10-0-1. They're 1 loss coming in the shootout. They have been unreal. You've obviously seen some of their top prospects make their debut with the Red Wings in Danielson and Michael brandsegg-nygard, Axel Sandin-Pellikka, Emmett Finney, all those guys who played at least stints with the Griffins on the Red Wings this year. You've heard us talk about them. But Amadeus Lombardi has 13 points in 11 games. You would think, oh, well, it's Amadeus Lombardi. Those are probably all goals. Nah, he's got 11 assists in 11 games. Just 2 of his points are goals, and he just scored his first goal, I think last weekend. He'd been a little bit snake-bitten, but he's been making his living feeding some of the other veterans he plays with, like John Leonard, Dominic Shine, guys like that.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a guy that we have been incredibly excited about since he was playing in Flint. The speed and skating is, I think, fair to say it's at a dynamic level, or at least projects to be at a dynamic level at the NHL. And I think that's the hope that you're getting. You kind of mentioned before we hit record, like you're still maybe hoping he puts on a few pounds of muscle and maybe can get better in that regard, because that's, something. You go to the NHL, it's only going to get more physical. And we've seen a lot of players in just Red Wings uniforms even, but, across the NHL that, maybe it takes a little bit longer to transition because of size or whatnot. So we'll see. But like, he's so fun and one of our favorites here. And I am very confident that he will be in the NHL in the next 12 months. I think the bigger debate is, does he find the Red Wings roster by the end of this season?
Yeah, for me, it just comes down to he needs to get tougher, because he's undersized, right? That's been the big strike against him, and the fact that he doesn't play great defense. When you are that size, you have to learn to play good defense, because you're not going to survive. Look at Jonathan Berggren, and Berggren's a little bit bigger than him. But once you make that leap to the NHL, game gets faster, game gets tighter, game gets more physical. So you can't just wheel and deal and dangle through everyone unless you're an unreal talent. So he's going to have to learn to survive at the NHL level if he wants to make it. But he has the brains for it, he has the skill for it, and he has the shot for it. It's just, can he fine-tune the rougher areas of his game enough to warrant a stint? Carter Mazur, obviously, you all know he's been hurt. He's only played 5 games this season. He's got 6 points in those 5 games. He was off to an incredible start before he got hurt in practice. It's the Griffins, so we hear even less about injuries and injury updates than we do at the NHL level. So we just know, I think we heard it was an upper body injury. Don't quote me on that. But he's been hurt and he's been out for a while now. Just a quick update on that. Michael brandsegg-nygard's got 3 points in 6 games since he went back down. I think he scored his 2 goals are recent-ish for him. I'm trying to think. William Wallinder, 4 points in 11 games. He's been playing big minutes for them, and he's a guy who I think is pretty close.
Well, and
NHL,
a guy, you look at the last 3 years, the last 2 years of Griffins hockey, like Wallinder has he is now, looked at as like the young defenseman that's going to get a ton of minutes, right? Like Edvinsson leaves and like you have all these changes on the blue line with, top talent. It's it's his turn, if you will, like in the cycle. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm glad that he's doing well, and hopefully, I would agree with you that that's someone that, I mean, even this year, if there's an injury or two on the blue line, you could even see him by the end of the season.
Right. And then finally, as far as Griffins prospects go, Sebastian Kosa and Michael Postava have both been unreal for the Griffins. Now, both are unfortunately hurt at the moment. They both went down at around the same time. Postava, it sounds like, is going to be a little bit longer term. Kosa, they suspect, is going to be more of a day-to-day situation, so he should be back soon-ish. But again, with the AHL, it's always so unclear when these guys are going to come back. But Kosa with a .939 save percentage and Postava with a .936 save percentage, Kosa allowing fewer than 2 goals a game, Postava just barely over 2. It's one of those chicken or the egg type situations where are they putting up fantastic numbers because the defense and the team in front of them is so good, or vice versa. I think it's a little column A, little column B. Both these goaltenders are playing unreal for the Griffins, and that's helping the team in front of them play with more confidence and vice versa.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I mean, we already know what Kosa is like, right? He's big and he's athletic, and when he is on, he is on. But when he's off, it takes a little bit for him to get out of his funk. Jimmy Howard was kind of like that.
He sure was.
Scotty, I want to talk about at least one more prospect, but we also got to do a game preview as the Wings are hosting the Kraken tonight at 7. So we'll do both of that in segment 3 of Locked On Red Wings. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. But that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougiette makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL. And don't forget to use code LockedOnNHL so they know we sent you. Rougiette. Stop making excuses and start making moves. Scotty, the last prospect I definitely want to make sure we get to is Eddie Genborg of the SHL. And this is somebody that if you follow Let's Go Red Wings prospects, LGRW prospects, or ice hockey gifts,
man.
Oh, yeah, on social media that they are constantly posting about. This season, he is playing over in the SHL with Timra. I'm probably nowhere close on that pronunciation, but Timra. He's got 13 points in 20 games with the big boy club. Remember, SHL is the premier professional league in Sweden. It's one of the best pro hockey leagues in the world, and he's got 13 points in 20 games, 7 goals, 6 assists. This winger he plays a fantastic two-way game, and he is unrelenting on the puck, and it's been paying off for them in spades over there in Sweden. And if you watch those highlights, man, the energy that he brings, something I could use over here with the Red Wings.
I genuinely, and I'm not saying anything that, a handful of people haven't already said, but genuinely, I think he's a guy that already has a ton of hype building around him from overseas. And he's a guy that really, like, the second he starts playing on North American ice, I think he's going to get a lot of hype. I think it's kind of, he's going to skyrocket pretty quickly once he does come over. And yeah, man, there's, like I said, already a ton of excitement watching him from across seas. So yeah, really, really awesome. And yeah, shout out the Let's Go Red Wings Twitter account, that Red Wings prospects, that just continuously puts out great videos of every single prospect.
And that's a 6'2" left winger, right winger. He can play either side. He's left-hand shot. He is the youngest player that we're going to talk about in today's episode. He was just drafted in the second round, 44th overall by the Red Wings. and he's playing unreal. 18 years old, playing great hockey with the premier professional league in Sweden. Quick update on Dmitry Buchelnikov. Buchelnikov. I got to get that right. Buchelnikov with the Moscow team over in Russia. He's got 18 points in 27 games played. So far, 8 goals, 10 assists. He's playing with the best, I think the best, one of the best teams in the KHL this season. So he's got the most talent surrounding him, and he's about on the same point pace that he was last year, a little bit lower, but playing with a better team like that, he might not be being put in the same situations that he was with Vitez. But he is one of those guys you're looking for at the end of the year to see if he comes over. So Dmitry Buchelnikov, we know we got in him a slightly undersized winger who's got a lot of skill and a lot of speed, but can he play defense? Tends to be the question.
Always is.
But lastly, Jesse Kiskinen, one of the players you got in the trade with Nashville, last offseason? Not this last offseason, but the offseason prior, that helped make cap space to be part of the Jake Wallman deal. That was the trade that preceded the Jake Wallman deal. He's playing over in Finland again with Liga. He's got 16 points in 22 games played. He is playing very well again as well. A third-round pick in 2023 by the Predators.
Yeah. I mean, hope that continues. Obviously, I don't have too much else to say, but there's again, it's a deep system that it's encouraging to see that no matter where the Wings draft, they always get guys that you can at least kind of look forward to and think are going to be at a minimum, like bottom 6 or bottom 4 NHL players.
Scotty, the Red Wings play the Seattle Kraken tonight at 7 o'clock. Kraken, so far, Scotty, are 9-4-5. They're second in the Pacific Division. One of those teams that's kind of surprising you with where they're sitting in the standings. But, Seattle Kraken, what do you expect to see out of them?
Addle.
Say battle?
Oh, no, I said Addle because you said, what do you expect to see out of them? Seattle. Do you like that one?
No, not in the slightest. I'm sorry, that was terrible. I can't even play along with that one, brother. That was rough.
Well, the Kraken. They've gotten off to a pretty good start. They've had a weird last few years. Obviously had a really good year and then kind of a step back year, and then now so far at least are 9-4-5 on the season. But their numbers are wild, man. Like, they are one of the best teams in the NHL at preventing goals so far this year and have one of the worst offenses in the NHL this year. They are one of the worst face-off teams in the NHL. Their penalty kill is bottom 4 in the entire NHL. Like, none of this makes sense, to be completely frank with you. They don't give up goals, but they have a terrible penalty kill. Sure, man. Yeah, that's totally a thing. They don't score goals, but they don't win faceoffs, and they're 9-4-5. Like, yeah, that's totally a sustainable thing that happens to everybody. Like, just a really weird season. Yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity. You're going to be the favorite going into this game, obviously, at home. And hopefully that's the case. I don't think they have any huge injuries that we don't know about either. Capo Caco, I guess, but we kind of knew about that one. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Jared McCann is on the IR with them too. But the thing with them is, I mean, you said it, right? They are a strong defensive team to start the year. They are top 10 and fewest, I guess you'd say bottom 10 in goals against.
Right.
Top 10 and fewest goals against. Their expected goals against is...
Yeah, they're seventh best in goals against, yeah.
Right. Their expected goals against is, top half of the league as well, and fewest goals expected, you should say. But their offense is abysmal. They have the fewest expected goals for in the NHL by a pretty decent margin. So far this season, their expected goals for are, reading this wrong, okay, you're 28. The next closest is the San Jose Sharks at 30. So 2 fewer expected goals than the next closest team. And their shot attempt share is one of the worst in the league as well. Their shot attempt share, which is just, shot attempts for versus shot attempts against at 5-on-5, is ranked 27th. They've only generated, let's see, where are they at on here? They're 26th in the league with 749 shot attempts generated at 5-on-5. Like, they do not have an offense to speak of over there in Seattle, but a mixture of, good defense and how's their goaltending been? And very good goaltending to start the season has been what's carried them. They have the second best goaltending at 5-on-5 in the league right now as a whole. Not in one individual goaltender, but their 5-on-5 goaltending is 93%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're playing on very good defense, and their goaltending is bailing them out, which means they are kind of due to come down to earth eventually, because eventually a lack of scoring.
They don't score, dude.
They don't score. They don't get
don't
shots.
Score.
Like, it's not even like with the Red Wings, they don't score, but they were getting so many shots that you knew the dam was going to break one way or the other. But they have the fewest shots, just flat out, fewest shots in the league at 5-on-5. So they're dependent wholly on the fact that they're on their goaltending and just playing good defense, which is kind of ironic considering last year they had statistically the worst goalie in the league in Philip Grubauer. But this year, it's been Joey Dackard, Matt Murray, and Philip Grubauer kind of split in a three-way tandem, and they've all got over a .900 save percentage so far to start the year. So if you can break their goaltending, you'll be just fine. But, of course, the Red Wings have been struggling.
You don't even have to break it. Just score a few goals.
Yeah, they're not going to score.
You know what I mean? Golly, a lot easier said than done. But this is kind of like unstoppable force, immovable object, right? It's like, here's the Wings that can't put the puck in the back of the net and get a ton of shots against a really good defense versus a Wings team that has not had incredible goaltending and a Kraken offense that can't score. So,
well, and it's just at 5-on-5 too, because if you get them on special teams, you're at the advantage. The Detroit Red Wings, obviously, power play and penalty kill in the top half of the league, but the Kraken's penalty kill, you take a man off the ice, and their penalty kill is the 29th ranked in the NHL. Yeah. So while their goaltending's been great at 5-on-5, and their defense looks like it's been pretty good at 5-on-5, down a man, they're one of the worst in the league. Their power play is ranked 18th. So if you can win the special teams battle and hold your own at 5-on-5, you're going to win this hockey game.
Yeah.
That being said, you know how that usually goes.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Despite everything we just said, the Kraken are tied for second in the Pacific Division. So they're winning in spite of those flaws.
They well over 500.
So, Scotty, any final thoughts?
We ball.
We do ball. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow, recapping the game against the Kraken. Stay tuned for that. Same time, same place. To your team every day.